There is so much magic in the world. There's magic in the trees and in the sunlight over the mountains. There's magic in witnessing a touching human moment or in watching another person grow. There's magic in creativity where artists live the dream. But there's also a darker magic, one that's much more subtle. Ideas are cast like spells from generation to generation. They are so widely accepted that we don't stop and ask, is that so? I'm talking about words. There's magic and power in words. Let's look at two words in particular. Starving artist. When I say those words, how does it make you feel? Do you see a bright and rewarding and colorful future in them? Or do you see a frail, crazy person with matted hair and decaying dreams? Let's imagine that we have this picture in our heads all wrong. Join me in a new definition. Let's look at those words one more time. Starving artist. But this time, I want you to look inside at the creative being that lives within you. Is this artist fed? Has it been given any tools or water or sunlight to grow? If your artist is going to bed each night without paint or a piano or a microphone or dance shoes or a table saw or fabric or a fantastic set of kitchen knives, then that's the starving artist. And what we need to do is bring that creative being out into the sunlight so that it can play and be. When we look inside and connect with that inner artist, we start to become the voice that sings, the spirit that paints, and the mind that dreams. I let my inner artist starve for years. I worked as a graphic designer, staring at a computer, drawing with a mouse. Click, click, click. There's no hope in that for me. I wanted to do something creative. I felt this creative energy welling up inside of me. I wanted to rip up fabric and piece it back together. But I kept a safe and ordinary life because I too lived in the myth that is the starving artist. But I thought like so many, that to do what you really wanted was somehow irresponsible. But if you look at the word responsible, it means the ability to respond. And my inner artist was calling me so loudly, it was using my own body through severe carpal tunnel, saying, hey, you're going about this all wrong. So I took a break. I had heard of this thing called the Camino de Santiago. It's this ancient pilgrimage where you walk hundreds of miles. And there is incredible magic and power in walking. As you move opposite arm, opposite leg, it fine-tunes and balances the energy system and makes the mind free. And what happens when the mind is free? The fog lifts and you get access to higher realms of creativity and possibility. You see beauty and wonder all around. After that 300-mile trek, I went to Barcelona and I visited a friend of mine who had a gallery. And the art on the walls was both amazing and terrible. And I thought to myself, hey, maybe I can make something amazing and terrible too. Growing up around sawdust and hammers, I said, Dad, let's make some stretcher frames, really big ones. And we did. We strapped those to the roof of my car, and I went to work. I had my canvas, I had my paint, and I had no skills. It had been so long since I had drawn anything that wasn't on a computer, I just scribbled. And I felt this incredible love and magic and creativity flowing through me. Word got out that I was throwing paint around, and I landed my first show at the Flying Star Cafe in downtown Albuquerque. I didn't even know how to wire a painting, but I just showed up with whatever I had and hung the work. A few weeks later, my phone rang, and I sold my first painting. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I sold my first painting. It was like they were playing my song on the radio. That was 9 years ago. I've sold about 1,000 original paintings since then. Live with your artwork outside of you. Fuel your creativity. Today, I fuel my inner artist with anything it wants. I go for a 3-mile walk in the bosque, opposite leg, opposite arm. If it's too cold, I go to the gym. I read amazing books. I set the timer for half an hour like it's the most important thing that I have to do that day, because that fuels my inner artist. I keep amazing music flowing in my art studio and at my shows. And I plan trips to destinations all over the world. But a trip to Santa Fe or Old Town works just as well. And in that feeding, care, and nurturing of my inner artist, she takes me to places I never would dream. She took me to my first international art show in London, where I was one of 3 to represent the United States. She got me on MTV's The Real World, where I did all of the paintings for the house for season 26 in San Diego. But most importantly, my inner artist takes me to an art deck where I'm outside, immersed in nature and painting for a living. I get to share that love with everybody across the world. So today, I invite you into that world of magic, to look inside and say hi to that artist that lives within you, and offer it some food, something it wants to devour, and see where your inner artist takes you. Thank you.